guess I should bring the mic a little bit closer to my face. Just a guess. Just a guess. So New Year. It's we'll see how well that goes for me. Hi. Was born ready. Yeah. Hi, Mikey. How are you doing? But yeah, so hi. Happy New Year. It was a good holiday season for my husband and I. We hung out, got a bunch of things up that have been kind of like hanging around for us to do, like getting up his cat wall for his office. So that's kind of nice. One of the things I got was this light light wall, which not all the colors want to show up with this camera just because it's super light. So it's like, oh my god, it's just white. I'm like, no, it's all sorts of purples and pinks, but still, like, I could have it go off of audio, which is terrifying. Like, here, let me it's absolutely mentally very distracting, and that's why I don't have it. But if we just put it to like this one, you'll see that by me talking it kind of lights up, which in itself is kind of fun, but it's very mentally distracting because I can see it out of the corner of my eye. And as much fun as that is, it's not really great for me. So I've been like, we could put it into like landscape, but see, like the camera is just like, oh no, it's just whites. So yeah. It is a lovely light wall. They're all individual like hexagons and triangles that Tam bought for me, and I put it up like that because I wanted to make it look like mountains almost. And it has this, the way it's working right now is that it kind of like shifts between a whole bunch of different tones of lights of different colors, which it shows up a little bit with the camera. So we'll see. It's like when it switches to darker tones, which I might have to do anyways, but like maybe if I bring it down some. Hey, now you get to see the colors. Okay, so bring it down some brightness. Nope, that's too high. Or is the camera now adjusting, being like, oh no, it's still a light wall? Oh well. Figuring out. Tam's a keeper. Yeah. I like calm and relaxing. Yeah, there's one that it is that's, it's like greens and jungly, which I really like. It's like just nice shifting greens, which is, gotta say, quite nice. Come on, connect. Yeah, I know. You don't want it necessarily. But after 10 years of marriage to Tam, I think he's a keeper. I agree. He's a keeper. And he's probably listening right now, so I kind of have to say that. Okay, so we're going to move on over here. But how was your guys' holidays? Was it everything that you hoped it would be? I hope it was. I hope it was a good time for you guys. Everyone involved. My friend, this is not what's going to be having skin tone on it. Have no fear. One of my friends sent this to me as a thing to paint up, to hold the D20 that they had at their wedding. Long story on that one, but her now husband made their card box look like a mimic. So this is, yeah, I would say that anyways. He is the best. So it's a very sad mimic because it's been broken open. But I wanted to just, it was there on my desk. I'm like, you know what? Just kind of start with let's clean off some of the flashing of this so that I can spray it down and get it painted, but there's just some parts that are just like, oh, that's going to catch my brush badly. So, but yeah, so it's a cutie. It's a cute thing. Speaking of cuties, yeah, are you cute? Yeah, you are. Callisto has taken to coming and joining me in my studio, but not coming up to my desk. She's like, "Oh, you're busy doing things. You're doing stuff at that table, and that's cool and all. So I'm just gonna hang out in the tower over here and just to be in your presence." So she's a cutie face, a very polite cutie face. Except when it comes down to food, then all bets are off. What do you expect from a very, very food motivated cat? She's extraordinarily food motivated, where her sister is very much not food motivated. So, on a completely extra side note, hi Rhea, who's your sister? Oh my gosh, Scout, I caught you, I caught you. Oh my goodness, I caught you. Yeah. It's pretty hard. Hopefully, and head towards the desk eventually. Yeah, she's just sleeping on the top of the tower, but this is Rhea, her sister, who is such a tiny little cat. She is very tiny and very light. It's a competition who's going to be smaller, Moose or her, and we're pretty sure that's going to be her. And like 6 days ago, she said she turned 1. Little Rhea's 1 year old. Yeah, and she wants to go and be a scamp elsewhere. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's my little scamp Rhea. She's super sweet and super tiny, and she has this really melodic meow that's very different, but that's mainly because we think that they are not natural speakers. And thus they learned it through hearing Moose and Athena always talking to us, and they're like, oh, this is how our humans will communicate with us, because clearly they're communicating with the other ones, with the biggins. And so they're like, yeah, let's do that, which is super cute. But also, like, poor things, they don't have to do that. Mixer goes paint. So yeah, I got this like super itchy feel like in the back of my mind of like, I want to find something, because I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find the paint mixture tabs that came with the Nocturna, which are really, really lovely, and I really like them. And my skin still looks very, very red. You know, just gonna figuring it out. What lights am I even actually using? See, I'm all over the place today. It's pretty great, isn't it? So great. Which one am I using today? Am I using red painting? Don't necessarily need to use red painting, but maybe that'll make my skin look a little bit less red. And turn that down. Hey, look at that. Fixed. So yeah, because I couldn't find these tabs since I moved here. So it's been really infuriating that I haven't been able to find it. And So this morning I asked my painting friend group if any of them also had this paint set and possibly still has those paint tabs that came with it. And a number of them did, but some of them were not home, so they weren't able to send it along. But one of them did in fact have it and sent it along. So it's like, yay! Because it's been a trial getting back into painting after so long. And for the most part, my legs just hurting while sitting, which hasn't been all that great to encourage me to continue sitting and painting, and or even like really just getting back into it, just because I'm so like mentally so used to that pain. And I think it kind of got a little bit associated with sitting here and like sitting in my studio and painting. So it's been really hard to get over that, and Tam's been over there trying to just, you know, politely encourage me to get back into painting, get back into streaming, go and do that. And the old Vallejo Nocturna paints, yeah, they're gorgeous and I love them. It's been really, really challenging to get myself to want to do this. And like this morning, I was just like really itching to find the paint tabs, because like I have the paints and I've used this many times, but for some reason it's like really hard for me to remember it. And anytime I have tried to actually like duplicate it without the like instructions beside me, I just Rhea, Callisto, no fighting at the top of the tower. They're fighting at the top of the tower. End paints? I don't know what those are. But it's thing that by following this little like itchy feeling of painting, that maybe I can pick up kind of where I left off. I just need to get my hands back into the swing of things without getting frustrated that things not fully working. Because that's kind of why I keep starting and getting into like starting up a stream and then being like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, it's just not working. So I'm hoping that if I follow these set patterns and thus it will turn out and look nice, that it'll repopulate that creativity and understanding. I'm also redoing my paint tabs, so all my paints are kind of on the floor behind me. I only have the blues mostly done. The Vallejo paints aren't produced anymore. Nocturna made a replacement range of paints. They look like P3 pots rather than dropper bottles. Oh. Yeah, I wonder. I did see that Vallejo's coming out with like reintroducing some sets and other things, which were very tempting. I'm gonna just put some of that red down onto the scales. But it's one of those of like, well, I can't really justify getting new paints if I'm having a really hard time painting. But they look nice. But honestly, like, these Nocturna paints are just so smooth. And, but that explains why they are a little bit difficult to find if they, in fact, are discontinued. So, I'm putting that one off to the side to dry. This is a KDM model that I bought a little while ago. Jeez. Yeah, the game range is getting reformatted or formulated. Which might be, pretty cool. But because I really like the model colors. Like, that's one of my favorite ranges, but I gave most of mine away just because they are really hard to come by in the States. Like, whenever I see a dark Prussian blue available, like, I'll jump on it, but for the most part, it's really actually a hard brand to come across. Like, the local-ish game store that I have around here is even selling, like, Scale 75 and Monument, but they're not selling Vallejo. Very sad indeed. So that's why I gave most of mine up, except for I think I have like maybe 10 that have been kept, mainly because, like, I could never give up those colors even if you asked me to. Like refractive green, like that one's such a nice base tone green for really anything, including skin tones, from what I remember. Yeah, it might be a territory thing. I've now moved states, and I still can't find them anywhere. The kittens are playing who can control the tower, or who can be the king of the tower. I'm not worried about them hurting each other since they are really like best friends. They're just deciding that this isn't the new time to say who gets the top. Kittens are so funny. Wondering if that a different brush would be better for this. I don't know, like, I have so many. And it's been, been a hot minute since I really done this. Also, I know I do recall it being, difficult to start things over on top of black primer, especially like a red tone, but, or like a pinky color, so I'm probably not making this easy on myself, but it's allowing the other one to dry. Girls, be careful. They match, they blend in so much with my wall behind me that I don't even think the camera would pick it up. But hearing them like tussle has always been a little bit concerning, just because I'm so used to my biggins where them tussling was not good. It meant, you know, like, oh, okay, I need to get in between that, or else one of my cats, very likely Athena, is going to end up at the vet's, because that's happened more than once. No Zenithal? Yeah. So, welcome to me relearning everything. And that includes using an airbrush. I was just happy to be able to get primer onto something. But yeah, I should look into doing Zenithal again. I have a new airbrush booth, which is kind of cool because now that I don't live in a perpetually summer state, I kind of need to be able to airbrush inside. Now I did a thing like what I was calling adaptive Zenithal, or Zenithal something something, that I did myself, which was, you know, putting Zenithal out there, and then I think I did a wash over top of it. So she sits on here. So I still need to get under there with this red, because that's not embarrassing at all for this poor lady. Let's just get a little bit more out on the palette, trying to, you know, waste too much paint. But we're going to she's sitting in what could actually be a really comfortable pose on a pumpkin beanbag like thing, which of course is creepy and in typical KDM fashion. Yeah, I'm bound to get something. Ooh, food delivery imminent. Well, that is a-okay. I am here. And hopefully I won't be going anywhere soon. So far, not really getting that frustrated, which is good. I think my... Well, I wouldn't say my hands are perfectly knowledgeable. That I can at least make something reasonable looking. And since I was really wanting to do skin tone, KDM is always the best one for that, just because it has a lot of skin tone. But I've told myself to not really jump into the super small, tiny models until I just get a little bit more warmed up. Because I tried jumping into the small models and I ended up just getting really frustrated. Which is depressing because I really enjoyed painting before my injury, so. But it also could just be because my mind did a mental shift while I was recovering and started doing a lot of digital art, that it might be like, oh, why aren't you doing that now? Like, that's your new focus. It's just like, not particularly. Although it might be fun to do some digital art here. Oh, Lola, I bet you missed me. I miss you. Alright, let's let that skin tone dry because I feel like I'm going to strip it if I keep trying to apply it. So we're going to just be a little bit ginger with this and place this another layer in on this mermaid. I really like her posture, so that's why I pulled her out. And while she doesn't have all that much skin tone showing, might be just enough. Aww, she got so used to listening to me all the time that she's like, what do I do now? What do I do? Why don't I have that? Let's see here. Next thing is first highlight with medium flesh. Like I said, I'm kind of picking up, following this guide because I really want to get back into it. And so, please don't judge me on trying to figure this out again. Though you guys wouldn't judge me, right? Right, that's what I thought. Ha. Okay, so it is just the first highlight. Okay, it doesn't get mixed with anything. It's just this paint. So I think that probably like the top of her head, forehead, and her nose, which is really kind of cute. I think this is not just liquid, but it does have some pigment to it, so I am noticing some shift. So top of her cheeks, her chin. Because of doing that digital work though, I had to really learn how to shade anatomy without having the benefit of a 3D sculpture in front of me, which is an ear over here, which will probably get turned blue, but I just wanted to get that skin tone on there. So I did learn a bunch from that, from the digital painting courses. About how certain areas get lit. Yeah, Jen is the painter. Oh, I think you should give it a go, just because I think everyone should give it a go. Everyone should try their hand at it at least once. I know it's not for everyone. this is a bit too liquidy, but I'm just gonna have to be very careful with how I place it to not have it get stripped. Clearly the top of this arm is... But even like in the deepest of shadows, I think the deepest of shadows is really just going to be where this red flesh stays. You know, get it along the tops of those fingers, top of that arm, maybe. This one here. But yeah, my focus seems to be doing a lot better with this right now. Oh. Aww. Well, I mean, not everyone has it. But you tried it, so that's as much as I can ask. And your art GCSE. What's GCSE? I feel like that's the British schooling system. I never really did get a handle on like what A level is or what's that, like where that sits compared to what I grew up with in terms of schooling. Aww, ever the teacher, giving the best compliments. I wish I had a teacher like you, Mrs. Jen. SATs, high school final grades. Also didn't have SATs growing up, so yeah, that's the confusing part. D&D cats? But okay, so final high school. That's high school. I thought SATs were university. See how much I know. Just to say, not a whole lot. Honestly, I do wish that everywhere would just standardize what they called each trade. Make it not only easier to kind of translate them, but... Well, no, just to be able to easily translate them. That would actually be the most preferable. Okay, so that is high school. If you're saying 15 years old and 17 years old. And still get confused by when Americans are calling it like sophomore, junior, senior. I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. We just had grades. Then when at university, it was like, oh, I'm in first year. I'm in second year. And at one point, it just kind of stopped because of co-op being very strange with how our schooling was. It made it so like, oh, yeah, no, I would have been like 5th or 6th year at one point. Maybe not 6th, maybe 5th. I don't really know. I leave those kind of number crunchings to Tam. We're getting that there. Just trying to mop up any extra hanging out. Don't want to strip it. Okay, so we can put her back over here. Yay, skin tones! Oh god, yeah. No, it's not great. Oh, that's just a cable. Thought maybe I would have an Athena. All right, food went off, and thus I don't think I had cats anymore. Yeah, I'm not. So that's that photo. Now the next thing is medium flesh, which is what I just put down, mixed with fairy flesh. Okay. I'm also just glad I didn't go to school in university in the States because of how expensive it is. You might hear the... I'm actually kind of curious. Do you guys hear the heat mixer while I was talking there? I'm kind of curious. Okay, that's going on a lot thicker, so yay! But yeah, so because school in Canada was not nearly as expensive. Okay, maybe 4 ice cubes was a bit too much. I just didn't know exactly when I'd be going through and drinking the coffee. So now we have this color. Putting that really thickly, apparently. Oopsies. To the top of her head. No, that's a bit too wet. Too wet. Listening to my friends talk about like my friends here talk about the cost of going to school. I don't think I ever would have. Not here in the States, anyways. That's why I'm hoping that if we ever have kids and any kind of stability and the world is any way stable that could allow for that kind of thing, I'd want them to go reside in Canada for a bit so they don't have to pay international fees to go to school in Canada. Yep. Yeah, private healthcare is a little bit different. There are parts in the States that I like more than compared to like how Canada is. Like, I don't like having to pay to see a doctor. I did that took a long time to kind of get over, to the point where I would wait until I was very sick before going. But I also know that if I had to get the surgery that I had for my hip done in Canada, I would have probably had to wait longer because of more priority cases coming in that would need that surgery slot before me. Whereas what I had here was like, oh, your surgery date is this date and it's that date. There was no like worry about like the leading up to the day of, oh, it's going to be postponed, it's going to get pushed back. But it's not good for if you're like terminal patient. Just because it takes a lot. And a lot of people go broke because they have to pay for all these types of well, at least you have to pay the copay. As long as you have good copay. Because now since my surgery, all last year, I really didn't have to pay copays for anything. Because of the fact that I paid so much on my surgery. I got to the max. Like that alone put us to the max of what we would have to pay. I think it ended up being like $3,000. Something odd. Because some of it was not covered by the insurance. But they were things that were like, I'm really glad they did. Like the CPM machine, which really helped keep the tissue in line and not bunch up. And okay, so we're just gonna leave her there. She's turning out really pretty. I'm really happy with how that's turning out. Yeah, he does. Like there's benefits to it from like that I saw for my surgery. I saw the benefits. But there's also like, oof. Like that's great for intensive care for the things that I just did, but for regular checkups and other things. I really don't think that they should be privatized, but... And when you say John Green, do you mean like the Vlog Brothers? I used to watch those a long time ago. I used to watch them pretty much every video until my best friend told me to read Fault in Stars, or Fault of Our Stars. One of his books that had come out at that point in time. And it was right after my mom had passed away from a brain tumor. And my best friend didn't really put two and two together. She was just like, oh yeah, no, the book is great. Like, you should totally read it. It's very heartwarming. And so I read it. And that put a permanent damper on my thoughts and feelings. And made it really hard to watch their videos again, just because it was just a little bit too much on the nose. But that was like 12 years ago. I do know that that's been a long time. Like I said, long time ago. This was like, I ordered Fault in Our Stars when they were doing that huge, like, thing, and I ended up with the Hanklerfish. I ordered the book mainly for my best friend because I wanted to have her have an extra chance at getting extra notation. But I was like, sure, I'll take her book and I'll read it. And nope. Not a great read right after your mom passed away like that. Yeah. Foot in mouth. Yeah. No. And anyone who heard about it afterwards was like, oh, how could you have done that? How could you have suggested that book? Us ADHD people, we really love the taste of our feet in our mouth. Like, we just really love it. But yeah, so it kind of soured my enjoyment of them. Which is sad, but, you know, it's okay. It is what it is. Can't seem to get her belly. There we go. It seems like a good, so I'll just place her over there. And I remember seeing a video from them, and they're like, I didn't know whenever they talk to people who say that they used to listen to them but no longer do, it was never on the fault of theirs. It was always just a fault of, you know, them getting distracted by people getting distracted by other things or just falling out of habit. And which is kind of true still. Like, they did nothing wrong. Man, oh man, was that a bad not a good suggestion. just got uncomfortable. Yeah. Yesterday, because I'm remaking my paint tab book. I'm putting it into a book form now. And Moose decided to sit on me, and I'm like, well, this is my life now. Like, I can't leave until, or I can't disturb her until she herself moves. And it was really sweet. I always love getting a moose on is always very precious. She's not a very big snuggler. So anytime she decides that she's going to snuggle on you is like, this is the most precious gift in the world. Must not ever be disturbed. Whoever disturbs her is perpetually going to be cast out as evil. I don't know what color of hair I should give this lady. Being a mermaid, like, of course, my first mental step point is saying, hey, you should give her totally red hair because, you know, paint what you know. It's feeling good. It's feeling like it's going in the right kind of direction of skin. What I really like about this schematic, is generally like there's an ugly phase to it. I mean, it is a beautiful model. I really just love her like her kind of like smug expression and just being super like, yeah, like here I am. So yeah, I really, really love her expression. But I'm practicing on skin tones, trying to get it right. So I'm working on two models. That's a lot of water. Oopsies. To try to, you know, get back in the swing of things. And KDM is best for this girl. This one's KDM, the big one, but the mermaid is Reaper. Yeah. The Drunken Mermaid. Yeah, the mermaid. Yeah, she's from Reaper. But I don't remember if I got her from from the Kickstarter or if I got her from a package since then. Betting Kickstarter. Yeah, I know. I don't know if she's a flower witch. I forget what she is. Because she's over here playing because she has a I know it's really hard to see it in this lighting, but she has a little TV box and various like pizza and gummies and a drink. So she's playing a video game. But this is anything can't be anything but KDM. I ordered her when I got their Dragon Knights just because I'm like, ooh, dragons. I was originally thinking of her as kind of like maybe a gift for Tam. But the whole painting thing was just not working for me. But I really do love the flower disciples. I've painted a bunch of them. Off her mushroom hat. Yeah, I could believe it. I mean, I have her art stuff right over here. They tell me what it is. Nope. No, they do not tell me what she is. Well, I put some of these art cards back up on my wall, but they don't tell me what they are or who they are, so you know. So helpful. You know, when you want to do something completely in skin tones, or you want a lot of practice on skin tones, that's what KDM is there for. Or at least, that's a lot of what I use KDM for, is skin tone practice. Bun? No, you can't drink that water. Callisto? No, none of that. Hey, none of that. This is not drinking water. You are such a tank. Oh, hi. Hi, sweetie. You're such a tank. You know that? Yeah, not many other materials on KDM. Yeah, that's for sure. So this is my other kitten, who's very much not a kitten anymore. This is my little Callisto with Halloween eyes. She has the most orangest of eyes. And such short fur. But, super soft. Why deploy decoy water? Yeah, I don't actually remember to have decoy water in here. I need to remember that. Haven't had to think about decoy water in a while because I've been using a big Yeti thermos for my water, and thus the cats can't get into it. Giving her a wash down, trying to just figure out, because I remember doing something like this to kind of help remove the chalkiness of some of my lines. Yeah, she is a beautiful girl. She was definitely an ugly duckling. I wouldn't have called her a beautiful kitten. She had a very boxy face. But man, oh man, she knows how to win hearts. Okay, so we're gonna let her drive. Yeah, she hopped up here and was like, I want water! I'm like, please no. And she was like, no, I don't want it. I'm a scamp. And then she went off and is off doing scampy things. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn my water on. Get my kettle going. Yeah, going to kettle. Oh my god, hi! Hi, little tiger butt. Come here. Oh, scuffed. Oh my god, you got scuffed. Oh my god, you got scuffed. Hi. Hi, little pumpkin. You're so soft and so sweet. You're just such a sweet little sweet. Alright. You go off and do your own thing. As big girl that she is now. She's a year old. I can't believe that they're a year. And then we got them like 10 months ago. Well, we got them. Yeah, we got them in March. Like early March, so. Yeah, she's there. Yeah, we've had them for so long. Okay, so I did the mix highlight on my little mermaid here. So, okay, so now we just use pure fairy flesh, and we'll bring out some of this burned flesh. Yeah, this year has flown by. Although the beginning of the year really felt dragged on. It was really hard for me, and that's also understandable with the situation that I was dealing with of my hip. Every day was just counting down until April 5th for my surgery. and I was turning into not a nice person. I fully understand now how those with chronic pain just turn into really crotchety people. I had chronic pain for less than a year, and I was so irate by the end. I was not a good person. And somehow Tam put up with me. I think he put up with me mainly knowing that, you know, wasn't a permanent thing. Well, no, I know he would have. He's a good guy. But I wouldn't have put up with me for very long. Like, not good with perpetual pain like that. So I'm very, very thankful for having a physiotherapist who was able to pinpoint exactly really what was wrong and send me to a doctor that would then help. Like, I owe so much to my physiotherapist. I don't know if I would have had it figured out by now. Yeah, it's hard to be a good person when there's a constant thing in the back of your head being like, okay, but that's painful to do. Now that's painful to do. So you can't enjoy anything because everything is painful. Instead of everything awesome, everything is painful. But I get it now why those typical, like those types of people are the typical ones who are extraordinarily grouchy. I get it now, and I sympathize. I didn't think I could ever become like that nasty of a person, but that was an eye-opener, that's for sure. But I stopped being able to have like, because I think it's like Mortrin or something like that. They gave me to kind of like try to handle the pain, but that really set off my stomach. So that was like, so not only am I in pain, but now I also have stomach pain and all sorts of other stomach unhappiness. Sorry, I'm making myself some tea. New kettle, it's so pretty. So now that I'm in my studio, I can use my kettle, and I have a tea box that Tam got me last year that I can use to hold all my tea. Although I don't have my little tea cup thing down here. So we'll let that steep just a tiny bit. I don't really like over steeped tea, and I find it very quickly to get over steeped. But let's just add a tiny bit of highlights onto but I'm just thankful every day. My my life returning back to me. And it's like one of those of like, you know, I'm doing the inane things, but I'll stop every once in a while and be like, oh my god, I did that with effortlessly without even really thinking about it. So that's always a good feeling when I have that happen. Like Tam and I went to the mall for the first time in a while for kind of like Christmas shopping. And haven't been able to do that. The last time I went to that mall, I was still very much barely went through a quarter before I was like, you know what? I'm really tired. So, seeing my improvements is always encouraging. Though my hip does get tired very fast still. And I've seen some actually, because of the snow and the ice that we've been having here, I actually get to see the improvements even more so with the torture that my physiotherapist puts me through in terms of balance. Oh my goodness, because I was like, well, this is horrible, nothing of this is good. But man, oh man. Now that the ground is unstable outside, it's become super noticeable. Like the exercises that he's been having me do has really helped me maintain my balance in the snow. Because a lot of the things he had me at the beginning, I was totally like, I wouldn't have even been able to do this before my injury. Like, I don't have balance. Like, well, we're gonna fix that. And man, oh man, has he ever. That's enough steeping time for you, I think. I'll just use my other mug till I get that little tea tray down. Yeah, cup of tea. See, small enjoyments of things are coming back. Last highlights with highlight skin. So I've been streaming for an hour and a half now, and I'm not getting sick of it, so yay! Following this guide does indeed help me just feel a little bit better about it. I know the tip of her nose would have. We're gonna go in here and start lightening up the actual I remember how to do some of this stuff. No, I'm probably going to get really cross. I did before was darken it actually all the way down. Because I really want to give her eyelashes. We can get this. I hope you sleep well. So while that dries, we're also gonna go browns. Like you don't breathe very much when you're trying to do these details. Using a pure white. I've done before is like put a reddish wash over it, over the eyes to kind of help them out a little. eyeballs are not really all that. They're not white. At least not in the corner areas. Lighten up. It's looking actually pretty good. Oh. It's really nice. I'm gonna let that dry so I don't strip it. We move back over to a bigger brush. We work on building his KDM legs back up again. Try my wet blending again. Especially since it's such a large stretch of skin. I still don't think I have the attention span for glazing. I know I used this also for my Forest Witch, like the actual big model of it. She's sitting on my like my wall here in my studio, just because like she's one of my favorites, and she was also still in that like blue orange phase, and so I have a shelf dedicated just to that phase of mine. Not just my blue phase, my blue orange phase. It really needs to dry, and I just broke off the little straw. That's gonna be an absolute pain in the butt to get back on. Oh, okay. Me and my fat fingers. My fat fingers and KDM do not mix very well. One of my cats knocked over my super glue container, and so that's what that giant splotch is on my table. A good amount of this seeped out. Because, you know, cats, man. Easy. I might just have to get like a copper rod in here. It's too small to pin. Or at least it's too small for my fingers to pin. I'll just put that over there and it happened, okay? Okay, I'm glad we all agree. Now my absolute favorite blue. Innsmouth from Fantasy and Game Scale 75. Get blue hair. To give her tail. Likes to knock over all the things. Yeah, Lola and I have something in common. So my new paint tab book, which I'm making for myself, it was originally a bullet journal that I ordered, but then I realized it's far too big for me to use as a bullet journal. Not that that matters for in a lot of the cases. For me personally, I just found it to be a bit too... It was going to be a bit too big for me to do that with. And I wasn't really too sure what I could use it for, but the paper is nice and thick. So I'm redoing my paint tabs, but this time I'm going by color, not by company. So all my blues are gonna go together, and reds and greens and teals, each like skin tone. Skin tones is kind of going with neutrals. And my blacks and whites, and that's why the paints are all over the floor behind me, because I kind of want to use them for... I organized them out, and so before I put them all away, I want to get them kind of together. I guess I really should not have added water. But yeah, I think that will be a good parallel with the skin tone, is having the bottom fin also being skin tone like. Not necessarily to the exact same stage, but I'm thinking like on the pinkier side, and since I have these colors out already, la 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 la. But yeah, so it's fun. And atop of my book, on each of the sections, I have washi tape that are kind of in those colors, and I have a rather heavy obsession with washi tape. I really, really love it. For bullet journaling, but also just because they're pretty. And that's when I did it. I really don't have that many yellow designs. So one of the yellows is actually has a blue background, but it has yellow pineapples on it. So I'm like, well, that's good enough. Yeah, so I think that'll be a good contrast. Got to kind of figure out what I want, how I want to paint the banner. Maybe a green would be a good one, kind of like a seaweed green. Or maybe I should, no, I think her hair should be green. Let's go with these colors. Let's go with these ones. I picked up refractive green, olive green, green grass or grass green, and moth green for her hair tone. Oh god, you're a mess. Who said you could come out into the light of day looking like that, huh? You mess. Messy Bessie. Alright, olive green. Sometimes the pressure in them is a bit too much. Check a lot with the Vallejo bottles. Little tops there, and then poke you down, back and you. Maybe I'll just come out. Oh, shoot. See, this is why I should never just trust myself like that. Trust myself. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Feel like that might be a bit too big for doing here. So we're just going to base tone her hair. don't know. I think mermaids having green hair is always a fun idea. Our folk. We're wanting to be inclusive here. Finding out where all the hair is also a fun little venture. I think it's a good idea that I didn't add any green tone to the hair or to the skin, because skin can have a bit of a greenish tone. But I feel like if I had a greenish tone in the skin, it'd look a little bit too much. Like, it would be far too noticeable, especially with green hair. Sometimes the intense skin tone is a bit, you know, a bit too cartoony. Here, let's just. I have a hand thing for a reason. My pinky won't cramp up. All sorts of things I have to relearn again. I wasn't able to really clean her up as well as I used to do, mainly because it was a bit of a challenge. Oh, is that her shoulder there? Yeah, I think that was that's her shoulder, so we're gonna have to get that painted on in. Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be fun. Though then we have to figure out what her shells will be the color of. So it means I need to very careful. We did not, in fact, go with red hair. We went with green. She should have green eyebrows. I have no idea. No, that's totally not focused, so let's... Yeah. Pretty. See here, do I have anything that I need to... As we let that dry, go back over here, on to the other lady. Leg kind of looking right. A little bit. I think this is kind of like glazing. Just lazy wet blending? Sounds like lazy wet blending. Yeah, her leg's beginning to look a little bit... Her main leg's beginning to look a little less chalky, which is good. And for New Year's Eve, well, it was kind of like New Year's Eve because it was the 30th. We went to a large trance music scene thing called Decadence. That was over in Denver. And I finally got to see Tiesto live, who was the artist who first introduced electronic dance music to me. So that was really cool. It was a lot heavier than I was really expecting. Mainly because, well, I think Tam had said that Denver has a heavier scene than what we're used to. So something to just kind of get used to. Which is fine as long as I have my bass canceling head earplugs in. Because I'm already pretty limited with my ears. I don't need to. Don't need to make it worse. But he did play one of my most favorite pieces of his, which is probably one that he's extraordinarily famous for, and he had it because he did that one. It was part of the album that he did for the Athens Olympics way back. Parade of, I think it's called Parade of the album's called Parade of Athletes, but the piece of music is called Adagio for Strings. And I've always loved that piece. But I was assuming because it was such a heavier scene, especially with all the other music that he was playing, that he wasn't going to end up playing that one. That's what made me realize, like, man, the scenes have changed because he did play it. And how little actual bass that piece has was mind-boggling compared to everything else. But it was the last song he played, and I was just so happy to hear it live. My hip was so tired by the end of it. We ended up finding seats and basically camped that stage so that I wouldn't miss. So I would have seats, and so that I wouldn't miss Tiesto on that stage. So we didn't go and try out any of the other, or listen to the other artists on the other stage. I did not want to miss the pretty much the reason for me going to it. And it was super lovely. There's a lot of LED lights around, kind of like, they're calling it like a futuristic city, which I think the future is LEDs. LED trees, LED lights. So some of it was pretty cool. There was one area that would light up as you walk through it. And so it was kind of like sending you home or sending you on your way as it lit up as you went along. And I was like, that would be so much fun to have along your driveway or something like that. There's always a ton of moisture that ends up on my models as I paint like this. I do wonder if it is kind of like a heavier glaze like thing, despite not really having the patience for full-on glazing. As I've stated. Okay. Put her back there and let her dry. She's so pretty. I do really like that model. All right. So now, all right. I was wanting that to dry. Her shoulder. Sometimes you only notice these details once when you start painting. Let that dry over there as we start in and along her hair. Kind of like the first highlight, so it's very broad. Yeah, this one is very bright when it goes down. Especially over top of the refractive green, it definitely darkens down. But it has such a nice richness to it. We'll have to do some skin touch-ups. She's fun. Yeah, I'm glad I picked her for the skin tone. She just... I don't know what about her, but she just makes me really happy. I'm not trying to be funky with the lighting or anything on these guys. I'm just working my way back up again. Okay. Apparently getting really hungry. My stomach's like, don't forget about me. I'm like, I'm trying. Just take my ADHD medications to use it not for what it's intended for, but it really does make me forget about food. Which apparently some people use it as a dieting method, which, you know, I guess doesn't stop you from actually being hungry. It just makes you forget about being hungry. Yeah, I'm really happy with how she's turning out. Considering just how long it's been since I've really succeeded in painting anything. When I say that, I mean like it succeeded in my terms of actually enjoying. Because I've been trying to paint, you know, on here for a little bit. But every time I would just get so sick of it, and I would just get so fed up with my inability to make anything really work. And it might not have come across that way. It might have looked fine. But to me, man, I was just getting more and more in the dumps about it. So that's why I sought out friends too. If they had the paint tab that I really, really like for skin tone, but I couldn't find mine. And thankfully one of them did have it. And so I brought it, even though it's not my own making of markup for skin, it definitely made me feel better about how it looked. She's super cool. Zoom it in. Zoom in the focusing. Spotting. I wonder if I could actually paint it like this close to the camera. I mean, I can try. We'll see. I'll see how well that lasts. Although I do need to add some water to this paper because it's curling up, and I'd really like it if it didn't. goes to show that it's just that much drier here, even compared to... No! I got green into the paper! Gosh darn it. I'm so good at this. Oh well. Get like an arm cushion to keep my hand at this level without like aggravating my hand. But we'll see. Green over here. Lighten it up with other one. Of course, I've always struggled with getting greens correct. I think that comes down to my very, very early trauma of working with greens on a green dragon. Oh man, was that ever painful. The model was also really challenging in itself of construction. It made me really swear off green for a very long time. Really, really thankful that my painting friends helped me out with finding those paint tabs again. Man, oh man. Even if I don't need it, it does make me feel a little bit better about this work and you know, I kind of like viewed it as okay, go back to the beginning. How did I do things? How did I start? It was just a crazy itch this morning that I was like, I really, really need those paint tabs. But I'm proud of myself for not like super hyper focusing on it and instead like, because I knew I hadn't been able to find it since I moved. And I have no idea where they are. And so there was no real point in me looking around my studio again. So I tried to find it via Google. And I couldn't. I found the other set, but not this one. But then one of my friends was like, yeah, I have it, but it's at home, so I'll get it for you when I finish work. And I'm like, okay, good. Now I can stop. I'll stop being able to. I'll stop focusing on it. And then another friend actually just sent the photos of them, and I'm like, you know, I love them. Such good people. Although maybe white is not really the best way to go for adding it to the hair. Maybe I think I need to add a bit of almost like yellow. It's like that's also very, very thick for highlights. I'm gonna have to. Bring it down a little bit. Let's just get everywhere else up to that, and then we can throw that wash onto it. At least everywhere is at that same level. Yeah, it just feels very spearminty for her hair. But now the question is if I add the light green on top of that, will that change, or maybe this green is just a bit too thin to like really settle down that pigment. I think we could always use like a neon green on it. Really like punch up the color. I have to figure out what her seashell color is going to be. I just go with the blue to match her. Tail. Anything just to kind of help distinguish it and frame the skin. There we go. So now you can, it's easier to see like where her skin tone is. Yeah, I'm liking her hair. I think I need to get a yellow in on it, but I do really like it. Just flesh down here because of her tail. And the banner might end up being a green to kind of, not the same green as her hair, but like maybe I'll just put refractive green on it just to kind of see what it will look like. Okay, so it just occurred in my head. I was like, okay, well, you know, since I'm having them match, like the seashell matches her tail. Like, okay, what happens if you're born with it? Like those seashells covering your bits. Like, do they crack open at some point for like babies, or you know, weird anatomy things for mermaids that mermen would just not have to understand or deal with. So I'm just going to this. Maybe it'll be like end up being like a yellow banner. Even then, a green undertone wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for that. Typically, it's in like an orange or pink to go underneath. But would being cracked open, would that be painful? Probably, if it's a part of you. Man. More and more would not want to be a mermaid. As long as her hair doesn't look like henna put into, henna hair into chlorine. I remember that being a thing. Like, you could dye your hair using henna, or like to tint your hair. But then it would turn green if you exposed it to chlorine in, like, in water. Green in the back there. Now really all that there is to figure out is the anchor and the wood ropes, and of course the actual beer that's in her hands. But she's looking so pretty. feel like I could dry brush her scales and it would turn out okay. We'll see, we'll see. Maybe a bit of... to give it a bit more of a texture there. But you know, I think my stomach is telling me that it's time to eat. So I think I'm going to stop there, even though I'm really enjoying myself. So that's good. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that I'm enjoying myself, considering how long it's been since I've actually really enjoyed painting. Not just painting because I used to enjoy it. So I will stop here. Oh, I'm dark, aren't I? We'll figure out lighting. We'll figure out the lighting. I'm not the most important part here. It's the figures. Yay! Also, because it's getting a bit darker outside, so the light that used to be coming in here is not so much anymore. But yeah, so thank you, seriously, guys. It's been really nice just to be painting and enjoying myself. So my little mermaid is looking cute and snarky. So yeah, thank you guys very much for hanging out. I'm going to try to be more regular with it. So hopefully you guys will see me again maybe tomorrow, hopefully, where we will continue working on our little mermaid because she's so cute. But yeah, so have a good one, and I will be back hopefully tomorrow. All right, bye guys.